Hey everybody, Zach from Raging River here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about what is in my sport climbing bag. You know, I like to get into some climbing, some hiking, some skiing, some snowboarding. So over the next few weeks and months, we're going to dive into our personal gear and see what we like to take when we get outside. And today we're going to talk about my sport climbing setup. First things first, I've got the Gregory Zulu 40 backpack, 40 liter internal volume there. Definitely big enough for everything you're gonna take for a short sport climbing day out. Basically today we're just gonna hop from the outside of the pack to the inside of the pack, see everything that I bring, talk a little bit about why I bring it, and then go from there. So let's just get started. So first things first, when you're doing any sort of activity outside, always gotta stay hydrated. So, you know, bring an Nalgene full of water, bring a couple smart water bottles, bring some electrolyte kits, whatever you want to bring. Just make sure you're staying hydrated throughout the day so you can get your send on. Outside of that, got to bring the phone. It's a great communication device. You know, if you don't have a GPS device, something from Garmin, it's always good to at least have your phone in case you get injured, get hurt, have that secondary or primary communication device to get you out of any of those sticky situations. Up in the top, let's see what we got in here. Got the car keys, got some different snacks, things to keep you know, energized while you're out there climbing, but not too heavy. You don't want to be taking any like big sandwiches or pizza or anything out there. You know, that's not good to leave that kind of stuff out on the trails anyway, so it's good to stay nice and light when you're out there. But always like, you know, the energy chews and gummies, something like that to keep you, you know, nice and energized on the trail. Got a buff in here if it's ever sunny or cold, put it around your neck, nice to wipe the sweat off of your head. Also got a pair of sunglasses, always great to have if it's a nice sunny day. And then looks like some toilet paper. So you never know what you're gonna get into. You wanna make sure you clean up after yourself. So always good to have some of those extra things with you out on the trail there. To go ahead and put all this stuff back in here, and we'll get to the good stuff on the inside. Alrighty, let's just get this thing down on the table here, make it nice and easy to get into. First things first, got my helmet here. You know, a lot of people tend to not climb with a helmet, but I do think it's fairly important, especially as a father and a husband. Want to protect my noggin, so I definitely always wear climbing if I'm out sport climbing, lead climbing, trad climbing, any of those things. You know, it's really nice to have as a belayer if there's any rock that might fall down, protects that head on the top, but also if you do take some sort of weird whipper and hang upside down and bonk your head on the wall, always good to have that helmet. Helmets are cool, safety's cool. All right, so let's get into the meat of things here. Something I really like about this Zulu 40 is the fact that I can get at it from the top here, get it all my gear nice and easy, don't always have to come in from the top. So let's just start pulling everything out and see what we've got. So we've got my harness right here. We've got a chalk bag. We've got a GriGri. We've got an ATC XP here. We've got some Skwamas from Sportiva. They've been the shoe I've been sport climbing in most recently. We've got my rope here from Mammut that we'll dive into in a little bit. We've got the new Petzl Neox as well. We're definitely gonna do a review video here in the near future about the GriGri and the Neox, but just diving a little bit more into it to make sure that we fully understand both of those devices before comparing them. And then we've got the meat of everything in here. We've got a nice little rack with some Quickdraws with a nut tool for trad climbing, which we won't really talk about today, but maybe in the future, we'll see. Got another regular ATC here, some extra webbing for building anchors, some loose carabiners. We've got a PAS here from Petzl. We've got some short draws, some long draws, some just regular, you know, 12 centimeter draws from Camp, Black Diamond, Petzl. A lot of different things for different situations that you might get into, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about that today. Last but not least, we got a couple extra loose carabiners, you know, always good to have, never know what situation you're gonna get into, and a headlamp. You might think, I'm going out in the day, in the morning, why do I need a headlamp? You never know what you're gonna get into when you're outside, when you're in the backcountry, when you're rock climbing. You might get stuck somewhere, something might break off, you might be stuck on the side of a cliff face waiting for a search and rescue to come pick you up. You might get lost, take a wrong turn on a trail, and it's always really good to have that headlamp just in case you are stuck out at night. You don't want to be out there without that, not knowing where you're going. So first things first here, we got a climbing rope. It's a 60-meter climbing rope. You know, pretty standard to have a 60-meter or a 70-meter rope. A lot of the crags out west, I would definitely recommend having a 70-meter rope. You might get into some longer climbs, something with, 20 to 30 bolts on the way up that you need to clip in. So it's just good to have that extra rope. But a lot of things here in the Midwest especially aren't super tall. So I didn't find it necessary to bring out the 70-meter rope in this one. So we just got that 60-meter. You can see here, Mammut's got some pretty obvious middle markers here. So you can know exactly how to set up your rope when you're building a top rope for your friends once you set up that climb after leading it out. It's a rope, it's a dynamic 9.4 millimeter, 60-meter rope, pretty simple, definitely gets the job done. I love the Mammut ropes. I think they put in some fantastic R&D. They really dive into the science behind their products, and it's a rope that I've always used, so I really believe in the Mammut products. I really also like the ropes from Edelrid, Black Diamond, Petzl. Everybody's doing a really good job, but I started buying Mammut ropes, so that's just kind of where I landed and where I stuck over the years. So there's the rope, pretty simple. Next, we've got the harness. I'll bring out a couple options here just because I've been wearing two different harnesses lately. We've got this harness here from Petzl. This is the Aila. I've been getting a lot more into lightweight harnesses lately. I'm a little bit of a gear nerd, so I like to buy some interesting things. This harness is really cool just because it has a lot of different gear loops. Like I said, it's really lightweight. It doesn't have a ton of extra material to it. It's really comfortable, really great for longer sport climbing routes and even some trad routes and multi-pitch routes, so definitely nice. I've been wearing this harness for about a year and a half now, and I've had zero issues with it. Definitely love it. Feels safe, feels comfortable. The one issue I have noticed for the guys out here is this harness has definitely squished the boys a little bit when you're belaying. Sorry to be graphic there, but I want you guys to know what's going on. So, if you're belaying and you kind of got a climber that might be hang-dogging a little bit or taking some time to get up the route, and you're having to constantly hold them on your belay device, you might have a little bit of annoying uncomfort in this harness there. Recently picked up the Arc'teryx Skaha. I've been using it a lot in the gym lately. Again, here in the Midwest, we do a lot of gym climbing, especially here in Toledo. And I have noticed that this harness could potentially be the most comfortable harness I've ever put on in my life. When I put it on, I don't even really notice it's there. So that's fantastic, first of all. The next thing I've noticed on this is these gear loops are nuts. They feel super light, but man, they are beefy, they are rigid, they can take a lot of weight. And this harness is an alpine, trad, mixed kind of climbing harness, so it's definitely light. That's what it's for. I'm not using it for what it's for, but I like to test out product, and I've found that I really do dig this, and I'm super stoked to take this on some longer climbs. So definitely worth picking up or at least checking out the Arc'teryx Skaha here. Next, chalk bag, dealer's choice. It's kind of how everybody shows who they are. It's like your socks, it's like your sunglasses. I've just been rocking this organic chalk bag here with some Friction Labs on the inside. Guess we got it here anyway. So yeah, I've been rocking the Friction Labs chalk lately. Been super impressed with it. Between that and the Black Diamond chalk, I've been going, both ways. You can't really go wrong either way. Chalk is chalk, but I do find that the Friction Labs and the Black Diamond chalk are sticking pretty well on my hand. They're not falling off after a long climbing session at the gym. Even though I'm a really sweaty guy, I found that both of those chalks are performing pretty well. So chalk bag here, like we talked about as well. Headlamp, super simple. I've got a 400 lumen Black Diamond Storm headlamp here. It just gets the job done. If you're ever in a situation where you go, oh shit, I wish I would have had a headlamp, that's not good. But I always want to have that, a med kit, a headlamp, a little pocket knife, some extra accessory cord. just different things if you have to bail on a route, if anybody gets injured, if you get injured or you get into a sticky situation where it's too late at night, you gotta make sure you have those extra things with you at all times when you get out into the backcountry, into the woods, into the mountains. Just make sure to keep yourself nice and safe. Next, we've got a few different belay devices. We've got the Neox, I've got the GriGri, and the ATC XP, and I also have my regular ATC guide somewhere over there. You know, the ATC is a nice belay device for sure. It's tried and true, it's been around for years, but why I am primarily using my ATC at this point in my life is just to have as a nice rappel device. You know, I like to belay with the GriGri when I'm using one rope, but if I'm ever in a situation where I need to utilize 2 ropes, more for trad climbing for sure, that's when I bring that ATC out and utilize that. But I always at least have my ATC guide on me when I'm out sport climbing as well, so I have that option to rappel if need be. And then from there, we hop into both the GriGri and the Neox. The Petzl GriGri, been around forever, fantastic belay device. Everybody knows what it is. We'll hop into a video in the future comparing the GriGri and the Neox, but basically, you know, if you're learning how to belay, you want to be a little bit safer. The tried and true GriGri is probably the way to go for you while you learn how to belay. If you're a little bit more knowledgeable on belaying and you're getting specifically into lead climbing, it works for top roping, but the Neox pretty much for lead climbing. It's gonna allow you to pay out slack a lot easier, not make you short rope your climber as a belayer. But again, we'll post that video down in the description as soon as we make that, comparing the GriGri and the Neox. But definitely solid to have a nice belay device that you are comfortable with while you're sport climbing, so you can make sure to keep yourself and your climbers safe. I've got a lot of climbing shoes. You know, working in the gear industry, I like to test stuff out. All of these sports and hobbies are my passions, and I really like to nerd out about a lot of different shoes. Lately, you know, one shoe that I've been going for a lot when I'm getting outside or in the gym, but sport climbing, doing some longer routes, but even jumping into bouldering as well a little bit. The La Sportiva Skwama here. It's a favorite of a lot of pro climbers. You know, we've got like Jonathan Segrist and Matilda Sonderland wearing these. They're 2 pretty hardcore outdoor climbers. I started watching their YouTube videos and saw these shoes, tried them on for myself, and I really love them. They're nice and soft in all the right places, but still have some good stiffness, that split down the sole as well. So they just conform to your feet really nice, easy Velcro on and off when you want to be comfortable, especially if you are multi-pitching and do want to take your shoes off once you get to an anchor point. Just nice to have a shoe that's super reliable, super comfortable, and really performance driven as well. So I know that was a lot of stuff, a lot to digest, but that's pretty much what I take sport climbing. Again, maybe we'll do like a little tick list here. I like to bring a rope, a belay device, a headlamp, and safety gear, a med kit, knife, all that type of stuff. Good pair of shoes, an extra sun hoodie like you see wearing here from Free Fly, a good pair of pants that's nice and stretchy, a good hat, something to keep you out of the sun. And then we talked about our Quickdraws, our anchor building material, PAS over there from Petzl as well, a helmet, your harness, your chalk, your bag, everything you need to get you outside. If you have any more questions about rock climbing, definitely leave a comment down below and we will get back to you. Feel free to message us, DM us directly on our different social media accounts, hit us up on our website. Check out the ridgeandriver.com website for way more climbing gear over there if you're interested. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you outside.